So here's a question for you, or challenge to you. Can you prove to me that the EU is not a cult? Because I was thinking about, sorry, I'm moving around a lot, get myself comfy on my chair. I was thinking about the EU earlier because I was feeling miserable, and you know, they don't want anyone to leave. It looks very much like it's been designed with that purpose from the very beginning. You know, Hotel California, you can check out, but you can never leave. So I was thinking, what else? What other groups have behaved that way? So I was thinking of things I would consider cults. They argue that they're not. Scientology, Jehovah's Witnesses. That's it. That's what I was thinking about it. I had Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on my door earlier. I was very polite to them, actually. Honestly, I was really polite. But Islam. I consider Islam a cult because you're not allowed to leave. Because if you do want to leave, you have to be killed, because that's the penalty for apostasy. And I know the Old Testament had death penalty for apostasy, but I haven't checked. I don't think the New Testament does. I think you're allowed. And there are countless examples of people leaving Christianity. Happens all the time. In fact, probably, even though I'm an atheist, probably it's happening a little bit too much. Perhaps we need to try to reintroduce Christianity a little bit more in the schools. Not necessarily force the supernatural aspects of it, but the cultural aspects of it. You know, how it underlined our country, our continent, basically. When you teach in school, when they teach about the Crusades, perhaps they need to explain that there was 400 years of non-stop bombardment from Islam, and it was a response to that. It was a defence to the non-stop attack of the quite stabby Islamists. Anyway, and so I'm going to lump in the EU in that group, because you're not allowed to leave. So the definition of a cult: a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. So yeah, okay, obvious flaw there. The EU's not based on religion. But then I think it behaves like one. And I also think that communism, socialism, Marxism, what have you, behaves like a religion without a divine aspect to it. All the rest of it is. And one of the major things that most cults have is shunning. So I'm just going to read from Wikipedia about shunning. Social rejection occurs when a person or group deliberately avoids association with and habitually keeps away from an individual or group. This can be a formal decision by the group or less formal group action which will spread to all members of the group as a form of solidarity. It is a sanction against association, often associated with religious groups and other tightly knit organisations and communities. Targets of shunning can include persons who have been labelled as apostates, whistleblowers, dissidents, strike breakers. It goes on a bit, but you get the point, right? That's how the EU behaves, isn't it? You know, look at what's happened since even a referendum was brought up in a manifesto by the Conservative Party. You know, this Project Fear, this, you know, and countless things. And I'm just going from memory. We were all going to die of gonorrhea a little while ago. I mean, that's how desperate they get. They say, oh, we might not be able to share all the medical information, and so all of a sudden we're all going to die of sexually transmitted diseases. You know, it's outrageous, but it's effective because some people that have taken the Kool-Aid buy it. That's how dangerous it is, and that's why it's a cult. People are so petrified of leaving. I found this website, calm.org, and it was about, it says here the headline, the social aspects of cult-like behaviour. There's 14 categories. I'm going to skip through a bit, but there's submission, and obviously the cults is incredible. Obviously Islam as well. It means submission, but you have to submit. So complete, almost unquestioned trust in the leadership. Leaders are often seen as prophets, apostles, or special individuals with unusual connections to God. Okay, but we won't go that far. But you know, Juncker's not quite considered a god, but he's certainly pissed a lot of the time. Exclusivity. Their group is the only true system. I've missed out the word religious, or one of a few true remnants of God's people. Okay. Persecution complex. Control. So control of members' actions and thinking through repeated indoctrination and or threats of loss of salvation or a place to live. I mean, come on, that's the EU. Isolation. Minimising contact of church, okay, lose the word church, members with those outside the group. This facilitates further control. That's what they do. That's what it's all about. Love bombing, showing great attention and love to a person or group. No, maybe not. Indoctrination, salvation, group think. So the group's coherence is maintained by the observance to policies handed down from those in authority. There is an internal enforcement of policies by members who reward proper behaviour, and those who perform properly are rewarded with further inclusion and acceptance by the group. EU. EU. Cognitive dissonance. I love this word. I only learnt it this year. I think it's cracking. It makes me sound quite cleverer than I used to be. Avoidance of critical thinking and or maintaining logically impossible beliefs and or beliefs that are inconsistent with other beliefs held by the group. I mean, look at migration. Look at all the evidence is there that it never works. It's awful. And keep on it, because it's the cognitive dissonance that's keeping you going. Shunning, there you go, I mentioned that. Those who do not keep in step with the group policies are shunned and or expelled. So we're not expelled, but we're going to be treated so badly, aren't we? Anyway, you can have a look for that. I'll see if I can share a link in it. But someone please show me that the EU is not a cult. Anyway, so it's over. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like.